Okay, the big question is, why did 320 software founders join our live SaaS CEO webinar recorded last Thursday, February 20th? In fact, these slides that you're about to see were so in demand that over 4,000 CEOs requested them here on LinkedIn. Now, we talked about getting over 1,000 leads from ChatGPT for your SaaS brand. We talked about prompt marketing, what it means, and the top 9 AI tools you should use. We showed 9 tactics you can use to get $1 million of new revenue in the next 30 days. And we showed you the fast way to launch a best-selling book or get $1 million on your podcast to grow your SaaS brand. To top it all off, Henry Schuck surprised us, the CEO of ZoomInfo, over $1 billion of revenue, and told us where he thinks the future of go-to-market is going. If you want this full slide deck, all you have to do is click like here on YouTube and then leave a comment. Here's the deal. If we get over 500 likes and at least 100 comments before this Thursday, February 27th, I'll update the YouTube description with the Google Slides link. So all of you will have access to all 94 slides to share with your team and save for later on. All right, let's jump into the recording.
What is going on? It's so good to see everybody. We have so much to cover. It is freezing today, February 20th in Austin, Texas. I'm talking like 25 degrees, but Todd Last, it's good to see you. Penny Last, oh, sorry, it's not Penny Last. I forget my merge field. Everyone's last name is Last. That was embarrassing. But Penny, it's good to see you. Arena, it's good to see you. Brian, it's good to see you. I see so many folks here live. And again, I'm joining you live today. We switched up the studio setup. You are live from my living room here in Austin, Texas. But to the right, I see all the faces. To the left, I see all the comments. I've got my slides here on the screen. Let's just make sure, guys, the chat is working. I see Adam Salmon. Adam, you're getting a bunch of snow in DC, I think, right now. Or did the storm slide south of you?
A little dusting, not too bad.
No dusting. Okay, there we go. Wes Bush is in the house. Good to see you, Wes. Guys, let me know where you're joining from in the chat, just so we can make sure it's working. London is in the house. Okay, now it's moving too quick and I can't read all of them, but Manila's here, Maryland's here, the UK, Cleveland, Seoul is here, San Antonio. Okay, there's a lot. I'm so happy to see you guys. We want to make this, though, feel a lot like a backyard barbecue. So what I'm going to do right now, my screen is not being shared already, is it? Or is it being shared? So you guys can already see my screen. I've asked my team, I'm going to reset the please turn your video on timer for 60 seconds. And so what I want you guys to do is, if you're just joining, please turn on your video. Please turn on your video. That way we can all see each other and I can see you on my big screens here in my living room. This will be great. Let me pick on somebody real quick. Adam Sandman, you've bootstrapped to north of $10 million of revenue. You come on all the time. Why do you join? What do you get out of these webinars?
I want to learn all the new stuff that's going on. AI is changing marketing and sales, and it's moving faster than ever before. And I want to know what the latest and greatest things are that are going to convert and going to work. And things that we tried 2 months ago aren't going to work anymore. So if I don't want to be stale.
That's awesome, man. Well, it's good to see you. Guys, just thumbs up. Is like the audio working? You can see my screen. You can see me clearly. Is everyone feeling good? That doesn't feel like, okay, that's awesome. I love that. Well, we're going to start removing people here in studio in about 18 seconds. Anyone that doesn't have their video on, just to free up more space, because Zoom taps us out at a certain moment and I can't see the attendee count, but you guys can look below on Zoom and you should see how many other CEOs are live. It's going up quickly. And I want to make sure we create space for those that are willing to come on, share their screen, and really participate today. We're going to focus on 9 tactics SaaS companies used last month to add millions of dollars of new revenue. We're going to go here for about 55 minutes. These are all the slides we're going to try and cover. We're going to average about 2 slides per minute. We're going to be fast-paced, just like Charles loves it, just like Philip loves it. Good to see you. Bob is on as well. Makia, nice to see you here too. And guys, if you want the full slide deck right now that I'm about to go through so you can follow along, you can go here and grab a copy right now. lu.ma/FP5. We'll put it in the chat. Just grab the recording ticket. All of you guys already have the free ticket, but those of you that have the recording ticket will also have the slide deck. All right, now, what happened last week in SaaS? A couple big trends happening. Guys, look at this line graph. You guys know what this is? It's all of the software engineering job postings on Indeed, right? A big job recruiting site. And look at this trend, right? We're talking like big back in 2022. If you go back to 2020, software engineering job postings are down 75%. And you have to wonder how much of this is software founders using Copilot, right? Using Cursor.ai, using these new AI tools to write code more efficiently, right? We have to see what's happening there. How many of you guys feel like your engineering teams are just more productive because you already have them on Copilot or Claude or something? Just raise your hand out of curiosity. Anybody? Brooks, what do you have? Brooks, did you raise your hand? Brooks Pinehart? Unmute yourself. What do you have your team on?
Well, whatever they want to use, but typically it's Copilot or some people use Gemini. I mean, all of them. So there's not
Gemini,
really any
Copilot.
formal structure.
Yeah, very cool, man. Well, good to have you. Second thing here, guys, I'm seeing if you look at the usage of Google AI Studio, it is just taking off. I think for our world in B2B SaaS, consumers are going to use ChatGPT. For our world and what we do, I think the winner here is going to be Gemini. It's going to be Google AI Studio. If you haven't checked it out, I encourage you to check it out after the webinar. I'll show you some use cases. And lastly, we had a great bootstrapper acquisition last week. iTrinity acquired Topic Ranker for it was 100% cash up front. Interviewed them on my YouTube channel. Got the full deal details. But iTrinity altogether last year, $25 million of top line revenue, and we love this. $14 million of profits. It's a really incredible story. A lot of moving pieces, a lot of things happening, but today we're going to focus on these 9 tactics. Take a scan at these 9 tactics. This is our roadmap for today. The first, call it 11 minutes, we'll focus on the future. ChatGPT and getting traffic from it. How to get 50% open rates on your email. What is prompt marketing and why is that job title so in demand? In the next 11 minutes after that, we'll focus on ways companies added $1 million of revenue over the past 45 to 60 days using very creative upsell emails from Lemlist will be live. We'll talk about Wingify using affiliates to exit for $200 million, bootstrapped, incredible. And then we'll go inside a LinkedIn ads account in the B2B SaaS world that spent about 1.5 million bucks and compare click-through rates. Lastly, no matter what tools you're using, what your go-to-market motion is, you've got to understand how to build quick credibility in whatever space you're in through what we call soft power. So the last 11, 12 minutes of the webinar will focus on soft power and how Chameleon is doing it with endless traffic from review sites, how Clickfunnels bootstrapped to 150 million bucks on the back of a bestseller, again, bootstrapped. And then we'll talk about how podcasts elected a president here in the United States and how you can tap into that soft power without being political. So it's a great roadmap. We've got a lot of good stuff coming up today. Before we jump into that, though, we have a very special guest, and as we get him on stage, I want to tee up his intro. This is a guy this is his revenue graph, right, from 2007 to 2020. Now, since this revenue graph, he's added another $500 million of revenue, right? You heard that right. It's a SaaS CEO. He's added another $500 million of revenue since then, but got going in 2007 from his dorm room, right? He's a law student in debt, got it going with org chart software. He's now scaled since then in 2014 to 45 million bucks of revenue. 2017, 88 million bucks. He turned down a $35.5 million secondary offer in 2012 for 70% of his company. That stake today is worth billions. So great decision by him betting on himself. This is the actual deal doc. Look at this. You don't get this on every webinar, right? This is the actual deal doc. He was kind enough to actually share the full Word document of the secondary and what he turned down. He then went on to continue driving growth, got an investment from Carlyle Group. After that, continued to drive growth of the business, even after turning down a $1.5 billion offer in terms of valuation. This was a big chunk of this. You can see use of funds here. Proceeds will be used for shareholder liquidity, including 620 million bucks of debt. Moved on past this, went and bought his biggest competitor. They were both doing about 130, 140 million bucks of revenue. He got the deal done using a lot of debt. The combined entity broke $320 million of ARR. He then prepared to go public. Guys, please welcome to our webinar stage, Henry Schuck, CEO of ZoomInfo. Henry, how are you, man?
Great. Thank you for having me, Nathan. You always do the best introductions for me. So anytime you want me on, I'm happy to get hyped up that way.
I appreciate that, man. By the way, we haven't seen each other in a while. You look great, man. You're hitting berries. You're doing your thing. You're crushing the market. How you feeling?
I'm doing the best that I can. I feel pretty good.
Good. Well, hey, I wanted to jump in. We're going to talk with you specifically about sort of the future of go-to-market. You're obviously a very active player in the space, one of the largest, if not the largest data set for go-to-market data in the world. Guys in the chat real quick, give Henry a big old hello. I think the more excited you are, the more he'll share, right? Henry, you feed off that kind of energy, I think, like I do.
Absolutely.
All right, so here's your quick financial summary pulled out of your Q3 2024 earnings call. 1.2 billion of annualized revenue. Retention, you guys are still working on, but dude, you are printing money in terms of cash flow. Bottom left, I think your forecast is 300, 400 million bucks of free cash flow once 2024 sort of closes out. So incredible profitability. And then you have these massive customers, 1,800 that pay you north of 100,000 bucks of ACV. So I mean, you are an expert at driving folks sort of up market and expanding them. Talk to me about the future of where you see sort of go-to-market motion. And I pulled this from your deck. you've sort of broken up your spaces in these categories. Walk us through how ZoomInfo is thinking about this strategically.
Yeah, look, I think the first thing that we're thinking about today is going to market is pretty hard today. And part of the reason for that is things that should be simple, particularly in the enterprise or the mid-market, are actually pretty hard. And if you think, Nathan, is it okay if I share my screen?
Yeah, please.
If you think about like something as simple as, hey, I want to run a competitive displacement campaign. What has to happen? RevOps gets this list. They have to find current customers, cross-reference them with existing customers. They have to go figure out who the account owner is. This data lives across a number of different places, and trying to get all of that data together to run something as simple as a competitive displacement campaign, which every day, I'm sure all of you wake up thinking about, how do I get my competitor out of an account and get myself in, becomes this long, pretty arduous process, particularly as the businesses start to scale. And if you're in the enterprise, it actually looks like this. It's worse. It's like the RevOps person who's the practitioner, or the sales ops person or the sales leader has to go to IT, and IT goes to data science. Sorry, we don't have capacity this quarter. Then it gets into a prioritization roadmap, and then it comes over here and it goes there. And it's this really terrible process. And that's just one little piece of a go-to-market motion that is unnecessarily difficult for companies to be able to execute against. And the way we've thought about how you solve that is that if you wanted to run a competitive displacement campaign, the easiest thing to do is to go to all of the account managers who own accounts and say, hey, listen, should we run a displacement campaign to your account? The account manager supposedly knows the account, has the communications with the account, knows who they're using, and can give you that information ad hoc, one by one by one. Unfortunately, today, the speed of change that's happening within organizations make it impossible for a human to be able to do that. Yesterday, Doge put out all of the spending cuts that they've been able to effectuate in the federal government. Billions of dollars of spending cuts. A lot of those are accounts that are your business accounts that you have recurring revenue with, that your account managers are managing. There's no way that that signal has reached your account manager to know, hey, Doge cut $2 million of spend at my account. That's going to mean something when it comes to renewal time. That's going to mean something when it comes to upsell and cross-sell time. But there are hundreds of other digital signals that are happening in your accounts every day. And the way we're thinking about the future of go-to-market is—
Wait, Henry, that's an open hook. So the way Henry's thinking about the open of go-to-market is, in a second, he's gonna give it to you. But guys, real quick, help him understand what you're selling at right now. What's your average ACV? Type it in the chat. So what's the average contract value you're selling? Are you guys SMB, $500 a month? Are you mid-market? You're selling 10, 20, 30,000 per year plans? Are you enterprise selling $100,000 per year plans? More, put it in the chat real quick. We can all see it. Brooks Reinhardt is $1 million per year. Matt Myers is 40K ACV. So, I mean, Henry, true or false, what you're teaching now in terms of the data lake, the cleaning, the enriching, all that, I mean, this is important for PLG, bottoms up motion, low ARPU, high volume, and also enterprise, right?
Yeah, it works for, I think it works for PLG and up, but particularly if you're selling a $40,000 annual contract, if you're selling $1 million annual contract, if you're 20,000 and up, I think having your data centralized in a way that you can quickly go execute go-to-market campaigns. I'm sure a bunch of the things you're going to show, Nathan, in a minute are going to be reliant on understanding who are my customers, who are my ideal targets, how have I talked with them, what competitors are they using. Having all of that information centralized so that you can quickly act on it is going to be a critical component to how companies go to market in the future.
Well, let's go back to your slides then, Henry. Let's jump in. I know you can't see the chat, but you had people in the chat going anywhere from like PLG motion, $50 a month, all the way up to $200,000, $300,000 per year. So I think what people don't realize about ZoomInfo is you guys really have a massive moat here. I know there's all these new up and comers, these sort of point solutions, but you guys sit on a massive data set and you clean it. It's the data lake concept. Walk us through these last two slides here.
So the way we've thought about this is, one, you have all of this information, third-party data, like our data, company information, contact information, signal information, then a whole bunch of your first-party unstructured data, your call recordings, your emails, your calendar invites, your calendar meetings. All of that needs to come to a central place. And then we're building agents on top of it for every account. And so now every account has an agent whose skills have been trained around what a great account manager can do. And that agent can answer questions about that account. That agent can tell you, should this account be in a competitive displacement campaign? Should we be reaching out to them about cross-sell or upsell opportunities? And so now you essentially will have an agent in the future for every single one of the accounts that you're managing. That agent will know everything from a first-party perspective, from a third-party perspective, and be able to drive who you reach out to, what you reach out to them about, what key things are happening in those accounts. Like today, thousands of our customers got signals that told them, hey, your accounts that you're expecting to upsell or renew just had meaningful spending cuts from the federal government. You're going to have to show up in a different way. Or, hey, your accounts, your large public company account just had a really bad quarter and said it's doing a layoff, or had a really great quarter and said it's going to continue to hire salespeople. And so these signals are coming into a central data lake, and it's allowing our customers to execute really specific go-to-market campaigns on top of that.
And talk us into the slide 5 here where you break this down.
Yeah, so look, the 2000s were about a system of record. The 2010s were about a system of execution, and today's universe is about a system of intelligence. It's not and I think in a lot of ways, CRM has lost its place as the source of truth. And
hey, how many of you guys agree with that? Raise your hand. You feel like your CRM is like old, you can't enrich it fast enough. It's got a job title from 20 years ago. Raise your hand if you feel that way. CRM, it's like, man, how do I keep HubSpot going? There you go, Henry. A lot of people raising their hand.
Yeah, it's just not made for a modern AI era where information is changing at a faster pace than ever. And so then we shifted to these systems of execution. Okay, we're not going to operate out of CRM. We're going to operate out of an outreach or a sales loft or some Gong, some other system of execution. But really today, to be really successful, you need a system of intelligence. And that's really what we're building today and where we see the future of go-to-market going. The problems that I talked about, if any of the people on this call sell into the go-to-market organization at enterprises, at mid-market companies, they should be thinking about this is what's happening at enterprise companies. This painful motion is a real motion to solve. One of the things, Nathan, I said on one of the earliest podcasts that we had was, look, every enterprise has these really annoying things happening inside of it that's slowing them down, that's not allowing them to be successful. Go find that thing and solve it. And then you can really charge for solving those types of problems.
Guys, the thing I love about Henry is he's not only sitting at the forefront of this, he sits on the most data, but also he's one of the most humble, transparent, open-minded, publicly traded SaaS CEOs that I know will still jump on a webinar like this. So Henry, before we let you go, we'll cut back here to my slides again. I think what people, when they think about ZoomInfo, those folks on the call, you guys might think, oh my gosh, ZoomInfo is for the enterprise. You might not realize there's a free option on Zoom. You can test ZoomInfo for free, right? And then expand as you grow. I mean, people don't realize Henry moves faster than I've seen even some of these new startups that are in the headlines because they're raising gobs of money at crazy valuations. He moves faster, even at his stage. I've seen it. I mean, it's incredible what he's done. So you can see my slides here. This is where they're pulling all their data from, a lot of data in one spot, then feeding into these contextualized agents that he just described. Now, Henry, you've got over 35,000 paying customers. A ton of them are north of 100K in ACV. And we talked about like that free cash flow you're generating. Let's wrap up here just with a capital question. So pulling this out of your board deck or the earnings call, you, I would say, are one of the masters of debt. I mean, you have perfected this. Most successful people know how to master debt because it helps you keep equity. I think this is correct, right? You've got about 1.2 billion of debt on the books. How have you used debt just over your time growing both the original business and then ZoomInfo to make sure you preserve your equity?
Yeah, we're using, like, when we see an acquisition that's going to be accretive to us and our shareholders, we're raising debt to do those acquisitions instead of issuing equity. One of the things that we used cash for this last 18 months, we bought back 17% of the company because we felt like the markets were not appreciating the position that we were in and they're undervaluing ZoomInfo. So we used over $500 million to go buy back 17% of the company and take those shares out of the market. That gives return to our shareholders. There's less outstanding shares. Every share is worth more. I think the other way to think about it is, like, if you're in a position to raise debt and take out an equity holder and you're able to service that debt, that's a real opportunity too. Hey, I can take $5 million. I know the business is going to grow. I take $5 million today, buy out one of my shareholders with that debt, service that debt. And as long as I'm confident that the business is going to continue to grow, that shareholder value comes back to me in the remaining shareholders. Another way to.
Guys, and these aren't like Henry's not talking like a $5 million acquisition. He started doing those things, but I mean, we're talking like $500 million acquisitions, right? With the Chorus acquisition back in 2021. And he's always thinking about inorganic growth, but also if his stock gets too low, like he just said, he bets on himself and does a massive share buyback, which you can see here on the screen from his earnings call. So
and I was
we want to wrap.
too.
Oh, go ahead, Henry.
2 quarters ago, we had a difficult quarter because we had a write-off. I bought $13 million of stock with my own money. The next quarter, I bought $5 million more of the ZoomInfo stock with my own money because I'm willing to say I know where ZoomInfo is going. I have a lot of confidence in it, and I'm willing to use my own capital to take out shareholders at a lower price.
I love that. Guys, again, Henry has been a great friend of FounderPath for a long time. He's come and spoken to our portfolio CEOs at our events. You can see his full deck here, the full course, including the Word docs, the LOI, everything. It's a big, beautiful course. I want to get it to you guys. So here's what we've done, and Henry was kind enough to do this. We're going to drop this link in the chat right now. If you want all of Henry's teaching, which was previously reserved behind a paywall only for FounderPath portfolio CEOs, we'll give it to you today. All you got to do is click the link in the chat that we just posted. That'll take you to a landing page Henry has set up, which is enabling anyone on the webinar today to go test ZoomInfo. Henry, it's testing ZoomInfo, right? It's free, right? And then go bottoms up and expand as they want.
Yep, 100%.
Great, guys. So go check it out. Go to Market Intelligence. Once you do that, to get his course, type ZoomInfo in the chat. We are checking the registration, so don't bluff. Go do it really quick. And Matt Myers, you say you already use ZoomInfo. Unmute yourself. How do you use them? Why do you use them? Why do you love them?
I think Henry knows this very well, but I think I'm right now. I've been using it to build this a master list for prospects. Like it's amazing. Like going through LinkedIn, people I just don't know how to contact from based on searching there. I'm filling in all the data. It's amazing. We're now looking at Copilot as well, and for what's that new thing called, Henry? I forget the one where you can get people from the people that are hitting your site in your buyer group. I forget what that's called.
Reverse IP lookup, Henry.
Yeah, we can tell you who is visiting your website, the actual person, without them ever filling out a form or telling you who they are. We can identify close to 20% of your website traffic down to the individual person and then set you up to reach out to them.
Guys, we love that. Guys, we're going to leave this offer up for about 10 more seconds. Matt, I was getting ready. I'm going, Matt's going to say big, beautiful things about Henry. This is going to be great. When did you start using ZoomInfo? How long ago?
Very, very long time ago. I think Henry, when was it? Like 10 years ago? When it was still discovered.
Matt Myers, Henry, can you hear on our side?
Yeah, I can't hear what Matt's saying, but I know Matt, great guy, incredible entrepreneur, and built my first Salesforce App Exchange app.
There you go. Matt, awesome, man. I'm glad. Look, small world, man. Henry, again, you're so humble, dude. Thanks for cutting out time for us. You guys see some pictures here of Henry coaching up our CEOs at our in-person events. Guys, give it up for Henry. Big round of applause. ZoomInfo. Henry, thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you for having me. If anybody has any questions, I'm just henry.schuck@zoominfo.com.
Guys, awesome. Give it up for Henry, guys, in the chat. You guys enjoy that. It's rare you can get a publicly traded CEO on that's so transparent as him. So, Henry, again, thanks for your time, man. We appreciate you. All right, guys, again, so that's a little taste of what we like to do on these webinars, right? Bring in real-time stuff. And one of the things that I like to do is make sure that I know who we're talking to as we get going here. So I'm going to go in here actually and just make sure that I know everybody. I'm going to go in and try and find the poll button here. Why? Guys, I lost the poll button. Can anyone see polls in studio? If you can see polls, launch the poll. If not, no worries. Oh, I got it. I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. I got it. So guys, I'm going to launch this really quick. I just like to know, because I'm going to send you something special after this, who is a returner and who is who's new, first time on the call. Just go ahead and say first time or not in the poll I just launched on the screen. And then we're going to jump into these 9 tactics. Like I told you, spend about 11 minutes on each 3-chunk section, right? So it averages about 1.5 minutes per tactic. We're going to move really quick. But first, again, who's new, who's not? Krishna last. I don't think we've met. It's good to see you. How are you? Krishna, can you hear me? That's not Krishna last. I keep calling everyone last because all your last names are last. Jay Desai. Jay, I know Jay. Jay, how are you, man?
Doing well. Just super excited about this. Chris just sent me the link, actually. I'm excited to learn about the ChatGPT stuff. So that's on my list.
That's awesome. Well, guys, again, you see the pop-up on your screen. I'm going to give you 5 more seconds to fill that in. 3, 2, I see about 40% of you are new. 57% of you say this is the only webinar I join every month. And then I also asked you, what growth tactics are you trying right now? We'll cater the rest of the content specifically to you. And then lastly, you see the link to our March webinar, which will be on the 21st if you want to block that on your calendar. I'm going to end the poll in 3, 2, 1, and we're going to jump right into the content now, right? Now, if you want to meet, again, if you want more content like Henry, I mean, Henry shares, when you get close to CEOs like this, they share more when they're in person, right? You can see our full agenda in terms of where we're doing in-person meetings at lu.ma/meet SaaS. So if you guys see here, are any of you guys in Miami, New York, Boston, Salt Lake City, LA, or Palo Alto? We'll be going to all these places over the next very, very short amount of time. So if you're there, I rent out a Soho house. I personally curate these. Again, go to lu.ma/meet SaaS. I put the link in the chat. Go RSVP for one of those events as my friend. You guys can click the LP or Nathan Friend button, which gets you the invite there for free, so you don't have to pay. Additionally, as you guys heard, we sold SaaS Open in Austin to SaaStock. It was a great deal. You know, Alex beat me down on price. It ended up being about a $1.6 million deal. We had a ton of fun. And so SaaStock USA was coming to Austin on May 13th and 14th. We're hosting a VIP session the day before. And this is going to be a great show. Not only that, I've got the man, the myth, the legend here in my house with me. Alex, come on, sit on my lap, dude. This is going to be so awkward. Right here, just sitting right on my left leg. There we go. Guys, give it up for this guy. Give it up for Alex Thumo, SaaStock. Is this awkward?
It is awkward. I love beating you down, Nathan, but not sitting on your lap. But it's great. Henry got to dial in, but I had to fly in.
You had to fly in
for a 2-minute segment.
Well, hey guys, look at the slides right now. I mean, this is going to be a great event. May 12th and 14th, 1,000 SaaS leaders. We've already confirmed Savneet Singh with PAR Technologies, 400 million, 500 million bucks of revenue. What's Matt Mullen? We're going to talk about owner of WordPress.
It depends what you're going to ask him, but I mean, I think last year they're doing about almost 800 million in revenue. So again, like another great founder. Not too long for him to drive down from Houston. We tried to get him for Dublin, but he's coming to the Austin event. Superhuman, almost at 40 million ARR, another great founder with Rahul. So great founders, great content. I can see everybody here, wants to connect on LinkedIn, or we're all here together virtually. Although
Larry Fisher said, Nathan, this is getting weird. Larry, just roll with it, man. Just roll with it.
But let's meet in person. Let's get everybody together in person. And I feel like this is Christmas, and I'm asking for a present.
I wish. Yeah,
you've already given me the present,
guys. It's gonna be a great program. Though you see this Founder Path Center stage there. They'll all be on that stage. There's 3 stages. There'll be over 100 speakers. They can check it out at SaaStockUSA.com.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. What else? Any other surprises?
No, I mean, for everybody that's here, if you want to come to SaaS.USA, come to Austin in a couple of months' time, use the code FounderPath20 for a 20% discount over the next 7 days. That'll be open. So it's my gift to you. Hopefully Nathan will get some feeling back in his leg when I jump off. I'm glad this is not being recorded.
No, you're very live right now. Guys, all right, Alex, give it up for Alex Thumo at SaaStock. It's awesome, man. He does a great event. It's going to be an awesome event here in Austin. So, guys, I'd love to meet you there. Let's jump into each of these, 2 minutes on each. Okay, now we've got section 1, section 2, section 3. Tell me in the chat as you scan these 9 tactics. They all added over $1 million of revenue. Which of the 9 are you guys most interested in? You guys can walk behind me, too, if you got to go. No worries. Put in the chat 1, 2, or 3. Which chunk? Cosmin said GPT traffic. Garrett said GPT. Hey, Garrett, good to see you, man. GPT traffic. Okay, Edgar saying 1. Jose saying 50% open rates. Automatic ARR. Arpit said 330K email. Guys, we're going to cover it all. Let's jump into the future. Section 1, Chat GPT traffic. Let's kick it off. This is Tallyform. This is their revenue growth. All right, this is their revenue, guys. We're going to move fast. So if you got me minimized, maximize. You're going to miss something in the slides. If you got me minimized, maximize. Here's their growth. 0 to 150K of MRR. Look at where most of Tally's traffic now is coming from. Can you see this tweet from the CEO? This is how many new leads, email leads captured that they are getting from traffic being sent to them by the conversational agents, the LLMs, Perplexity, Gemini, Claude, and the biggest chunk there, red, is ChatGPT, right? Is ChatGPT. So the question is, why is this working, right? Why is this working? The future of SaaS, if you don't show up in these results, you're in big, big trouble. SEO is declining, and everyone who's winning is focusing on AIO instead. AIO equals AI overview. And here's what it means. Do you guys read that? Do you show there? Go do it yourself. I see Matt Tharp with Hunter.io, right? So he might jump into Claude.ai and type, hey, what are the top email lookup tools? And he's going to pray and hope that Hunter.io is there. That's how a lot of people are going to be buying software over the next 5 to 12 months. Matt, good to see you, man, by the way. It was good to hang out in New York. Right? So do you show up in these applications? The question is, if you don't, how do you? Well, a lot of this is built on a strong foundation of SEO, a high domain rating, a lot of backlinks. You're more likely to show up here, right? More likely to show up here. Now, there's also a lot of PLG brands that are just crushing it, getting traffic from some of these LLMs. And I know we've got Wes Bush on. Wes, do you just want to comment on any trends you're seeing in PLG bottoms up relative to these conversational agents?
Yeah, I mean, as far as these agents, it's just becoming way more common for people to use that for like acquisition. How do they get known? And the one thing is just how do they use that as your main search engine? I don't know about you, but that is like, I use ChatGPT for most of my searches at the end of the day versus just going to Google.
Yep. And guys, we'll have Wes in and out through the whole webinar commenting on PLG, one of the leaders, if not the leader on PLG in the SaaS space. Check him out at productled.com. And Wes, feel free to drop your link in the chat so folks can follow along as you comment throughout the webinar. But guys, if the question you're wondering right now is, which of these LLMs should you optimize for? There's so many. Here is their traffic history. Now, what I would tell you is ChatGPT is like consumer version. I think for our sake, selling to B2B buyers, you want to focus on the green line. I think Gemini is going to win the space. So you should all go to gemini.google.com and type in what are the top X tools. Hey, take care, Alex. See you guys. Right? What are the top X tools? And see if you show up. Right? Imagine what your customers, your future customers might be searching and see if you show up. Right? That's section one, ChatGPT traffic. Now, guys, out of curiosity, type LLM traffic in the chat if you're also seeing an increase of leads coming to your SaaS website right now from the LLMs. Anybody else? Charlie had a good question. Is the traffic good or not? Puran is saying LLM traffic. Matt at Hunter is already seeing it. That's great. Matt, why don't you just unmute yourself really quick? What are you seeing? Which of these agents is giving you the most, Hunter.io, the most traffic right now?
At the moment, it's ChatGPT, but Perplexity is moving really quickly. I was actually trying to pull up a report real quick to get the stats, but don't have it yet.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Matt Tharp, Hunter.io, really great tool there. But again, guys, this is a trend that's going. If you guys are using any tools right now to boost your own ranking in the LLMs, this is your chance. Don't market your own shit, okay? But if you have a tool you love, put it in the Zoom chat. Right? It's a good way for all of us to learn together. I can't see how many CEOs are live right now, but maybe you guys can help me. If you look down at the Zoom chat, I think we probably have 100, 200, something like that. We love hanging out every month, but you guys can teach each other, right? Teach each other. Instantly.ai. Yep, that's great. 30 to 40%. Bob is coming from ChatGPT. Trevor is saying Perplexity almost completely erases Google. Okay, interesting. All right, very cool. Let's jump into copywriting. Out of curiosity, guys, remember, I can see your faces. Raise your hand here. Who thinks they're just terrible at copywriting? Anybody? Come on. I hear this all the time. People are going, oh, I have a great product to sell. I just don't know how to get my email open. The copy's terrible, right? A lot of people are bad at copy. I'm going to show you guys a trick. This is Gong's, one of the Gong's onboarding emails, right? Just the copy. And the things that you want to duplicate here are the colored sections. I'll let you read the colored sections here for a second. Right, these are the colored sections, right? Hook, proof, reverse ICP, the yellow section, not ICP, it's actually reverse ICP, right? It's sort of like when you break up with someone and they want you more, right? The push away creates the attraction, right? That's the reverse ICP. I know a little of the copy is covered by my face. Maybe we can kill my face in studio so folks can read that red section, right? But that last part is urgency, right? I'll read it. Our last webinar, there you go, had 2,800 attendees. We're capping this one, claim your spot before we hit 3,000, right? Now, guys, if this is hard for you guys to read, this is not my tool. It's a great tool that you should use. Go to just goodsalesemails.com. They basically signed up for every major SaaS platform and copied all the emails. And you can just go look it up. So if you guys are saying, like Jeff, you said it's very hard to read in the chat, just save this link for your marketing or co-marketing team or your copywriting team, right? Additionally, if you guys want as a founder to become a better storyteller, these are the books that I started. And usually we're in a big studio, but I'm in my living room now. So I can actually prove this now without bullshitting you. Let me just grab a couple of these. Hold on. All right, these are some of my favorite copywriting books, right? Words That Sell, Ogilvy on Advertising, Magic Words, Tell to Win. The reason I like these ones at the top, Words That Sell, is because it's like a big dictionary. So like if I wake up one morning and I say, I want to go in and I want to come up with a word that means, like let's say I want to come up with a word that means like amazing, or it'll basically give me a huge, massive list of words, right? Huge, massive list of words. and even like ones where you just fill in the blank with your own thing, right? I know you can't see that, but I love these dictionary like books because they're just very quick things to reference fast. So maybe screenshot this if you want some reading. These are good ones to have on your desk. All right, and the reason I bring up copywriting is I think in a world where everyone is, generating all their content, their copy with the LLMs and the outputs of ChatGPT, if everyone has that, who wins? Who gets the customer, right? Who wins in that world? And I think it's the creatives. Whoever has the highest emotional intelligence and can write the most creative copy to pattern interrupt in their customers' lives will get the most customers. If you think I'm full of shit, you can put shit in the chat. If you agree, you can do what Matt Tharp did and put 100%. What do you guys think? Arena, right? It's who's creative. I see you smiling, Arena, right? It's like who's the most creative, right? I have not. Microscript Rules. Larry, I'd love to read that though. Microscript Rules by Bill Schlee. I always love that. I love new books. Okay. All right, the last section. We're on section 3 of 9. Who knows what prompt marketing is? Raise your hand. Any guesses? Prompt marketing? Prompt marketing, maybe? I think this is going to be the most in-demand job title over the next 12 months. So the question is, well, what is it, right? What is it? Let me show you some examples. Clickfunnels, you see on my screen, bootstrapped to $180 million of revenue. This is the traffic they get from their free tools, right? Free tools are like, hey, give me a pay stub generator, a resize image online, a compress image maker, a refund policy generator, right? They're like free tools. Free tools, guys, are the new blog post. Right? The marketers that used to spend all their time writing blog posts are now using prompt marketing to actually code without knowing how to code, using the tools, right? The LM agents to launch these free tools. Here's Lemlist. We're going to learn from Lemlist in a bit, right? How they get all these leads. They have so many free tools. They have a whole tool library, right? But the thing is, your marketers don't want to bug the engineers with building all these free tools because your engineers are busy, right? They're busy. So what's the future, right? What's the future? I think the future, I'm going to give you an example of how we do this, right? At Founder Path, right? We help founders keep equity and make more at exit. So I use a tool that very few people know about. I'm telling you guys here, right? It's called Ohara.ai, right? Ohara.ai. Now let me see. There's always a risk of doing this stuff live, but No, don't hide it. No, I don't mind being a little vulnerable here. Let's see if this works. Yeah, you can see it. Here we go. So I went in here and built some apps, but I don't code. So guys, what prompt engineering is what you see over here. God, I don't know what that is either. Okay, let's just go back here. Let's go back, right? This is basically the free tool that I wanted my engineering team to build, but I just did it myself, right? So let me pop this open here. Okay, well, I have a screenshot to help because I forget how to get to that part of the interface. But do you see right here? This is how I started coding this. I just wrote this sentence. Right? So think about little micro tools. Brian, Craig, Chimnoy, James, what little micro tools could your audience use just to help them with something about their lives? These are the new blog posts. They're that easy to create. You just talk to the Ohara.ai and it generates the code, right? A marketer just wrote code. I then take that code and put it in my Trello board and say, engineers, instead of writing this free tool and trying to put a spec together, I say just copy paste and add it to our footer. Boom, new lead gen tool. That's prompt marketing, right? That's prompt marketing. Guys, how many of that landed? Just thumbs up. Are you sort of feeling why I think that's going to be a big, okay, I'm seeing thumbs up. Yeah, I think it's going to be a big space. If you're a marketer that knows how to also be a prompt marketer, I think you're going to win long term, right? And then look at this. By the way, this isn't me making this up. Look at HubSpot's footer. What is it? Maybe 50% of the space are free tools. It's the new blog. There's more footer space on HubSpot dedicated to their free tools than their blog posts, right? These free tools and prompt marketing is the new blog post. Right? Lemlist is doing it. Ahrefs is doing it. Free tools. You're seeing it everywhere. Prompt marketing. Here's a summary of section 1. We're 39 minutes into the webinar. We've got 2 more sections, right? They're going to take about 20 minutes to cover. We talked in this first section about ChatGPT traffic, copywriting and open rates, and prompt marketing. Thomas Millay, I'm going to pick on you so I can stop talking for a second. Unmute yourself. You learned something so far? Anything?
Yes, I certainly have.
Name one thing. What surprised you?
The prompt marketing, frankly. And I know it's the topic you just covered, but I had very little awareness of that. So I appreciate it, Nathan.
Guys, well, listen, I know you're all busy CEOs. I take your time very valuable. If you learned at least something in the first 3 sections here, just type yes or heck yes in the chat. I feel off your energy, right? Now, if you say no, I'm just going to boot you from the webinar, right? That's really easy. I'm just kidding. Right? But say yes or no in the chat. I'll feed off your energy. We'll jump into section 2 here, and we want to customize section 2 as best we can to where you guys are in terms of revenue ranges. So what I'm going to do, if you're open to it, I'm going to launch this poll. You don't have to tell me exact revenue, but give me a range. Where is everybody today? And we'll customize the next 6 sections, right? The next 6 sections we'll customize specific to what you guys are working on or your revenue ranges. I'll let this go here for a couple minutes. Not a couple minutes, sorry, a couple seconds here. While I do that, Don Wiseman, I see you in the bottom right of my screen up here. I don't think we've met before. Can I pick on you? Unmute yourself. What are you working on?
Yeah. Hi, Nathan. Nice to meet you finally.
Yeah, good to see you, man.
I'm working on a project that's going to launch on the 25th on Product Hunt. It's a basically a company called HRBuildIt.ai. And what we do is we design AI-driven strategy plans to help companies implement their people infrastructure within their company. And we also provide great AI-driven support to help them implement those projects. And also we do have expert project implementers that actually help to do that if they want to get the expert source.
Great. Well, Don, it's good to see you here live, man. You're hanging out in the right spot, and good luck on Product Hunt. Guys, I'll give you 5 more seconds to answer here on the screen. Your answers will control the rest of the webinar. 3, 2, we'll wrap up here in 2 seconds. 2, 1, 0, end poll. And I'll share it with you guys so you can know who you're on here with, right? Here you go. Right, here you go. So 15% of you, and again, I don't know how many people are live, but maybe someone can type in the chat. If you look at how many people are live right now, maybe put it in the chat, how many CEOs, right? 15% of you are doing more than $4 million a year in revenue, right? 30% of you are doing between 500K and 4 million, okay? And then another 37% of you are post-revenue, but not at $1 million yet. And then 19% of you are pre-revenue, right? So hundreds of great operating founders here live, which we love. So let's stop sharing that. Did I stop sharing that, guys? Yep. Okay, you got it. Great. All right, let's jump into section 2. Same thing here, guys. Which one are you most curious about? 330K email, bootstrap to 200 million exit, or automatic AR with LinkedIn ads? Matt said email. Yeah, of course. Matt would be email. That's you're on brand, Matt. Bob said 3. Okay, a lot of LinkedIn ads. Let's jump in, guys. Let's not wait. I want to get Tal. Is Tal backstage with Lemlist? Tal is not backstage with Lemlist. Tal, are you here? Okay, will this work this way, Lewis? Yep. It will work? Yeah. Okay. He does not have to share a screen. So Tal, we're going to just get you on stage. You're pinned. You guys have done an incredible job at Lemlist bootstrapping, right, to north of $30 million of revenue. You're always testing new creative things. And over the next 2 or 3 minutes, you're going to show us the 3 sales techniques behind a lot of your revenue growth, starting with how you reactivated dormant pipeline. What did you do here?
Yeah, sure. Let's go. I like that first graph, Tal's Lemlist. I think if Guillaume Mubesh, the founder, saw that, he might have a few things to say. But certainly, I'm the person that's now. I spend most of my time talking about copywriting campaigns and sequences. I know we're going quick. I mean, thanks for the energy, by the way, Nathan. Jesus, if you need a guy to host a webinar, you're the man.
Appreciate that.
Okay, so normally in terms of 3 plays, very quickly, we've got 3 ways that we want to, on the customer success side, make sure that we're taking advantage of emails that work based on data. Let's just go into that. The first example we've got, how we're going to reactivate dormant leads that we've lost. So we need to take some data points. What do we have here as an example? Bit blurry, so I'm going to basically give you the gist. If you understand that you've lost a lead, for example, to not having inbox rotation. So a feature of Lemlist, for example, is, Tal, we really needed inbox rotation. You haven't got it. These guys have. If we have that data point, we drag that data point into Lemlist, which creates sequences, which creates automated A/B testing emails, LinkedIn, that kind of thing. We can drag that in and we can say, hey, Nathan, I noticed that before we couldn't work together because we didn't have this feature. You were right. It was a must-have. Now we've got it. Could we have? And then you introduce your value-based CTA. So suddenly you're going, okay, so they're not lost forever, these leads, and you're able to link your new product releases with the data you have in your CRM, which is close lost because of X reason. That's one play.
So reactivating dormant, which is great. Let's 2 more plays. You're upselling existing customers. This one email unlocked 330K of ARR for you guys. You definitely want to screenshot this email. Tal, what did you guys do here? What was the strategy?
At least 330K. I mean, that is, that's being reserved. I think this comes down to
I'll blow it up for you guys. Here it is.
Yeah, here we go. So we can take a look. So it's basically down to AI and data triggers again. let's say you have a current client and you can say, hey, they're on your average plan. Let's say you have 3 plans and they're on plan number 1 or plan number 2. You know that there's differences between those plans. So let's say the plan that I want them on has LinkedIn steps to it. Now, I know, because we all do our research and we all research our ICPs down to knowing them upside down, inside out. Of course we do. Let's say the data trigger is their reply rate. So I know that people using Lemlist want good replies, sales teams, sales operations, outbound teams, etc. Notice your current campaign has a reply rate of data point. That's personalized, specific to that team. In their head, they get a green tick. Then I go into an AI variable that can link the difference between the root cause of why they might be getting those low reply rates. It might be down to the fact that you're not combining LinkedIn with your emails. Now, that's only available on the higher plan. Would you therefore mind if I were to share a campaign that a multi-channel user has used to lift their positive reply rate to 13%? It's all about using the data to leverage the fact that a higher plan gives the
Data
results
trigger,
that they actually need.
AI variable, conversions, and this drove
Voila.
a new 330K AR for you guys, huh?
Not bad. Yeah, exactly.
love that.
Yeah. And
Love that.
that's one thing where that actually, the more you do, the more you realize when you actually go into the different data points. I'm just trying to be quick, Nathan, you see. So the data points that you have, there's so many different things. So the more that you can map the problems that you solve for each of your user bases, the more you understand that, the more you can go, actually, maybe that plan would solve this problem for this user. And you can start to really create some triggers and pull some data in an automated way and using
And the
AI.
last thing, guys, I love webinars. Lemlist does too. Guys, out of curiosity, just put live in the chat. How many of you guys do some sort of live something, group gathering with your customers at some level of frequency, weekly, monthly? Wes does it. I know it's great webinars. Wes actually got me addicted to Luma. That's how I got addicted. Monthly. Webinar, okay, monthly with partners. Adam, that's a great idea. Drew does live webinars. So guys, here's Lemlist's post-webinar sequence, which is so critical. Tell so many founders when they do these webinars, I used to think this, they think it ends once I stop recording right now. No, that's just the beginning. What are you doing here after you end a webinar?
Easy mistake to make, Nathan. Don't make it. No, for a while we did do that. And I mean, this here as well, these screenshots were from a real webinar. So this isn't some like blown up marketing-y thing where we've edited it. This was crazy because after one of the events that I did talking about Lemlist's AI, won't go into that right now, but it was basically the way that we use AI in campaigns and outbound campaigns to make sequences relevant. Everyone swamped towards it. So we were getting about 30% positive reply rate based on this particular play. So
but
what we did
take a
in the
step
next
back here,
slide.
because people don't know this. This went out to 131 people. Was it email or you'd use Lemlist to send a LinkedIn direct in message?
So what this was, these were the responses that I was getting after the webinar. And then this in the middle of the screen where you've got the pink on the right-hand side, the 28.24%, that was from the email campaign that we sent out. So 131 sent, and it had 37 interested in this particular email campaign. We could have done a LinkedIn step as well in the Lemlist campaign, but it was a mix of the two. They were already interested from the webinar, and then we took those registrants, and then we sent them the email that you're about to see in a second.
Here we go. Here's a blown-up version of the email, guys.
Here it is. So what do we use first? When we did the webinar, who was in the webinar? Me. So who's the sender? Me. Might sound obvious, but we A/B tested this. Doesn't work when producer Pierre, who sat just behind the screen, he sent it from his email accounts. Doesn't work. So what we did in Lemlist, we set it up with my emails and we said Lemlist webinar subject line, webinar as the intent. Tal here from the Lemlist webinar. Okay, let me know if you're keen on the recording. So many people after a webinar at least want that recording. So far, thumbs up, tick. Yes, Tal, that's interesting. What do I do after that? Well, I carry on in the value that they're likely interested in because they were in a webinar with me. What do I talk about? Talk about sequences, talk about emails, talk about copywriting, so on and so on, finding leads, enrichment, whatever. So I go on to the value. That's my next section. Then I go into a value-based CTA, the only type of CTA that works. I'm happy to have that debate. I go on to, if you're open to taking 15 minutes, or are you open to me sharing some value on how these guys did this, on how this did this, an article on how these guys did this workflow, which managed this result.
And results were big. You guys can see the open rate here, the reply rate, 32.8%, the heart interest is right there too. So again, it doesn't stop when the webinar ends. You guys crush this. The best way to learn from Lemlist, guys, is actually just to go use Lemlist. Just go feel it. And then reverse engineer, right? So Tal's made a great thing here. Folks can use Lemlist. We use it for our LinkedIn automation. This is just for you guys on the webinar. We'll drop the link in the chat right now. If you go to lemlist.com, create a free account, and then ping Tal directly in LinkedIn. We'll drop again the link in the chat. There you go. You guys just saw it in the chat. Sign up for a free account on Lemlist at that link, and then DM Tal on LinkedIn. When they DM you, Tal, what do they get?
What they get is 1,000 free credits. So if you want to try and enrich your leads, you want to try validate some data, you want to try an outbound tool that you can do some AI stuff with, you can do this kind of campaign. I will send, because I have it at the click of a button. I can go bing, you can get 1,000 credits and you can play around. Like Nathan says, have a play around, test it versus what you're doing now, and write some
Guys, raise your
campaigns.
hand if you already use Lemlist. Any lovers already of Lemlist, LinkedIn automation? We use them, we love them. Okay, yeah. I'm seeing some fangirls and boys mixed in, which is great. I saw it in the chat as well. So again, guys, check that out. Tal, thanks for coaching us up, man. We appreciate you joining us live. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Pleasure.
All right, guys, next section here. How did Wingify exit just 3-4 weeks ago for this amount of money? Well, here's their revenue graph, right? Here's their revenue graph. Incredible revenue graph. This is bootstrapped, folks. Bootstrapped. I see Mark Douglas leaning in. But Mark, incredible, right? Bootstrapped to $250 million bucks of ARR. You might go, well, Mark, you're zooming in, right? Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, very cool. Yep, I'm bootstrapped as well. Closing in on that same number.
Now, we love Mark's down here in the Texas area too. We got to hang out at Soho House together a couple weeks ago, and it's incredible what Mark is building as well. But again, bootstrapped to 50 million. People go, oh, 200 million exit, it's not a great valuation. No, it's a great valuation because the founders are all set for life. It's much better than raising a bunch and making nothing on the exit. Bootstrapping is about doing more with less. And here's how VWO, which is Wingify, did it. This page, this was a key part of it. Now, do you guys know what this page is? If you do, type in the chat. What's this page? Who are they trying to sign up here? It's not customers. Exactly, it's their affiliate page, right? Now, I'm not going to teach all of this because you can go to it later and teach yourself, but you want to study other people's programs. Again, they exited January 24th, just a couple of weeks ago, for 200 million bucks. Great win for everybody. 4x multiple. Again, don't always optimize for multiple, right? Take the cash, go launch the new thing. Paris is now working on a new AI play with a great group of talented engineers in India. If you're not sure where to start with your own affiliate program, we've heard and interviewed literally thousands of founders on my podcast. I always ask what program to use. These are the 8 most commonly referred to affiliate management tools that people say good things about. So I'd recommend you use one of these. Like, how do you get links to send to your affiliates and track them? How do you give them their own tracking? How do you change and edit your commission structure to them? Use one of these tools will help you do that, right? One of these 8. All right, we already talked about SaaS Tech. If you're just joining again, come meet us in person May 11th through 14th in Austin, Texas. Let's jump into a LinkedIn ad account now with 1.4 million of total spend on the back end. This company is called useparagon.com. Brian Yam on the screen right now, he is their CMO. This is their revenue growth. All right, this is their revenue growth. So how does he running these LinkedIn ads? Well, first, if you're brand new to LinkedIn ads, nobody knows about this URL. You can go look up all your competitors. Go to this URL and type in your competitor's name. You can see all their LinkedIn ads. That's the best place to start, right? Go check it once a month. If they keep the same ad running, it's probably working. You should maybe use that as inspiration for your own ads, right? This is the link, linkedin.com/ad-library. That's why the slide deck is so valuable. There's always little gems built in, but write it down quick. Marina Gabor, you got it? Her notes are flying. I can see it. All right, Marina's got it. Great, ad library. Let's move forward. Here's the ad account. And we filter this a little bit. So we're looking at 73K of spend here. Can you guys see the click-through rate up there at the top? Pretty freaking good. It's pretty darn, I can tell you it's pretty good. I see a lot of folks get stuck in LinkedIn ads. They can't get above like a 0.4, 0.5, 0.6% click-through rate. You can see here 2.4%. And Brandon did a lot of testing. The ads that are performing the best for him in terms of cost per click CPC, right, and average cost per 1,000 impressions CPM, and click-through rate is literally just featuring customer testimonials, right? And they're all single image ads. So it's not video, anything. It's single image ads featuring the stories of their customers, right? So you guys can go look up Paragon via that link I just gave you to see all the ads they're running. Here, I'm not going to explain all this because we don't have enough time. But the takeaway on this, and if it's blurry, again, you want to get the full slide deck. You can see all these very clearly. But what you're seeing here, I'm going to go out on a limb here and try and play with my fancy new whiteboard here. But there's four specific ad groups that you want, right? You want a couple things. The first thing you want, and the lowest hanging fruit, is going to be your 30-day retargeting, right? Your 30-day group. They visit your website the past 30 days. After that, if you want to expand your audience a little bit more, you want to go up to 90. And then if you want to go a little bit more, you go to 180, right? 30, 90, 180. These are each a LinkedIn ad audience that you set up, right? And then you're running different kinds of ads to each of these groups, and they'll have different click-through rates. So 30, 90, 180. Now, in order, and your highest converting should be your 30-day visits because those are the most intent, right? After that, or like more weaker than that, is you're going to have initial cold layer, right? These are more generic ads, initial cold layer, ICL. That's what you see here on the left, right up here on my side. There it is, right on the left, right? Okay, so that's ICL, initial cold layer. And when you get all these things running, we'll go back to my slides now, right? When you get all these things running properly, it creates a really great ad program. And you can mix these different ads. So these are the 4 ad audiences. If you want to just screenshot this, take it home for you, all right? Those are the 4 big audiences, okay? And when you get that working right, you can get your target customers more engaged. And a lot of people have trouble identifying those target customers. So I want to go to Dave. Do we have Dave in the back in the room? We'll get Dave on stage right now. Dave is a new friend. He wrote the B2B sales playbook. He is big in Australia. So Dave, it's like what time is it there right now?
Just creeping on 6 a.m. here, so not too
And I have to
bad.
build your credibility fast. So forgive me for being transactional, but how big is your email list?
Email list is sitting at about 37,000.
And it's all SaaS growth folks, right?
It is. It's a fast growing email list. So make sure you check it out after this chat.
I found your content. I said you have great frameworks. Please come on. This is, guys, you should just screenshot this. This is the worksheet that you teach. We don't have time to go deep into all this, but give me the big takeaways here.
Yeah, well, basically, those who are closest to their customer wins, right? And you need to have this as just the basis level here of your ideal customer profile. You want to understand the firmographics, psychographics, their operational fit, their summary, the persona in the deeper process, their ICP objectives, their challenges. Where can you find more information about this, and their lookalike companies? A lot of this you can generate from a really slick ChatGPT prompt, but making sure you check this at least every quarter to understand if there's any shifts in your ICP. And if we jump
take
on
this away as a to-do, like growth form, we'll give you the other stuff here, but you then dial into the actual person here, like for example, Daryl, the CMO, right? How does this differ from the last slide?
So what you want to do here is that when you're going for a deal, depending if you're mid-tier to enterprise, if we want to jump, we're on the Daryl slide, that there's going to be different people in the buying committee. Now, Daryl might be the person who I'm selling to, but then there might be other decision makers. There might be what quote unquote the assassin, the deal killer, who's part of the IT or legal team, that you need to have this buyer persona so you know how to address them. You might not get access to these people. You might only get access to Daryl. So how do you arm Daryl with the right tools, with the right messaging, so that he can then sell your product internally? Because Daryl might be your champion, but he needs the guidance and help. So this is how you get really deep.
Dave, one thing I love about this framework, guys, guess what? When you're trying to write copy, how do you train ChatGPT? You give them this. This is it. If you don't do this work, you're going to get generic bullshit out of all the LLMs. They're just going to give you generic crap. If you put the time in to create these worksheets and feed the worksheet to the LLMs, they're going to give you way better output, right? So like, I'm sure you're seeing this as a use case, Dave, on a lot of your stuff, right? But getting these personas nailed is really, really key. You have this 7-pillar sort of sequence. We're not going to go through all of them, but target, touches, interval, channels, content, duration, and cycle. You talk about it deep in your newsletter. And once you set people up with that sort of structure, you help them with this sales plan example. What are we looking at here?
So this is your one-page gold mine. So this is and you can do this per individual revenue generator. So this is understanding what is my target, my average deal value, how many opportunities do I need to reach out to on a yearly basis, break that down per month, and then you can go per week, per month, per year on the new conversations you need to have, the new meetings, how many proposals you need to go out, so that you can forecast with a high level of confidence that you're going to hit your target.
Yep. Guys, and again, when you document all this, you can really build a great experience in the LMs. Now, look, we booked 90 minutes here. I know a lot of you guys are going to have a hard stop, but I'm about to tease the hell out of you to try and convince you to stay for another 15 minutes while we jump into the last 3 categories. And before we let Dave go, I'm going to go silent with what I'm about to show you, because I think you'll get it. We sit on unique data at Latka with 3,000 interviews. You don't have time to watch all the interviews. What if I fed all those into our own LLM, built a RAG database, and then gave you guys access to a conversational agent on the front end so you could talk to it? What if you could do that? What if you could go in here and say, give me the top 25 in New York, the fastest growing, the best bootstrappers? Or maybe you want to go, what is Gong's revenue? Right? Because I've interviewed many SaaS CEOs, and the source you're going to get out here is his audio, a meet directly from that interview. I'll show you how to get access to this agent here in a second. You can see it going right now, spitting out revenue numbers you can't get anywhere else. If you type this into ChatGPT, it'll say, I don't know Gong's revenue. It's a private company. We have it here. That's my open hook. You should keep sticking around. I'll show you how to get that in a second. But Dave first, right? If they want to go learn more about what you're building at Growth Forum, where can they go?
Simple. Just visit growforum.io/newsletter. It's a free newsletter. You can jump on and sign up today, and you'll get daily tips on how to scale to 100 million and above.
Guys, there you have it. We'll drop growthforum.io/newsletter. If you were talking in the chat about my slides being too blurry, you can get all those templates directly from, again, growthforum.io/newsletter. Dave, thanks for coming on, man. I'm excited to do more with you. Thanks
Pleasure.
for getting up early in the morning for me.
All good. Take it easy, guys.
All right, guys. Give it up from Dave from Australia. Dave, we appreciate you jumping on, dude. Thank you so much. All right, let's keep moving forward here. Here's the summary of section 2. We talked and learned from Lemlist and saw the $330,000 email. We talked about a great bootstrapper using affiliates to exit and keep equity so he made more at the sale. And we went inside a LinkedIn ads account to understand how they get high CTR with the added benefit of learning from Dave about how to really identify that ICP and get our sales motion going. All right, and get our sales motion going. Now, a lot of you guys are asking me in the chat, you're saying, wait, how did you build that thing you just showed? Or how did you do this? Guys, we put together, we sit on so much data. Sometimes we don't know what you guys want. You got to, and you sort of have to tell us, right? So you have to tell us, I'm going to launch a poll right now. Whatever you put here is going to control what data we go pull out of our big database of playbooks, numbers, growth charts, and share on our next webinar in March. So tell me what AI-related topics you're most curious about in the chat right now that just popped up. What are you guys most curious about? Again, give me the toughest questions you have, and we're going to bring you great data with real case studies in 30 days next month. While we're doing that, let me talk to a new friend I haven't seen before. Stephanie Arcia, I haven't seen you before. Are you new? What are you working on? Unmute yourself.
Hey, yes, this is my first time in this kind of webinar. I am.
What do you think? Are you enjoying yourself?
Oh, I'm kind of trying to get information because you're going very fast. So I'm trying to take the most and implement some of those strategies inside the company. So,
well, we're thrilled to have you. Thanks for jumping on.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for all that valuable information.
You bet. You bet. My biggest fear is that you guys call me boring at the end and say you got no tactics or tips. So I will always try and dump as much as I can on you, and you can watch the recording later and really siphon everything out. Okay, let's end this poll. 3, 2. Again, you're most curious about. We're going to give you all the data we can next month. We're going to have 5 more seconds here. 3, 2, 1. As we jump into the last section of the webinar, we're going to go for about 9 minutes on this. And guys, it's all about soft power, right? Soft power. How to get endless traffic from review sites. How to bootstrap using a book and a Wall Street Journal bestseller, and how, if podcasts can elect a president, you can certainly use podcasting in this soft power to close B2B SaaS customers. Now, you guys might be going, what is soft power, right? What is soft power? Well, I used it to grow the revenue at Latka. Here's my revenue graph. This is pulling right. I use FounderPath for Latka. I know it's weird. This is a lot of incestual stuff going on here, software-wise. I'd be very clear there, software-wise, right? So what's happening here is this is my revenue chart from Latka inside of the FounderPath dashboard, which offers free reporting. So how did I do this as like a one-man shop, go from 0 to 100K a month of revenue as a solo founder, right, at Latka before I launched FounderPath? Well, the trick is I did something that allowed me to eventually do this. Imagine getting on any cable channel you want by texting the producer when breaking news launches in your space. What would that mean to your software brand, right? What would that mean to your software brand? What if you could sell 30,000 copies, hit a Wall Street Journal bestseller list, and beat out massive authors like James Clear in Atomic Habits, Dave Ramsey? Here I am up here in a number 3 spot, printed in the physical, Wall Street Journal, right? What if you could do that? What would that mean for your B2B SaaS brand? What if the podcast, you guys all did this? You launched a podcast like 2 years ago. You did 2 episodes and said, screw it. This is too much work. I don't even like it. I don't even know how to use Libsyn. iTunes is confusing. I don't want to go to the studio every day. Screw this, right? What if your podcast could get up to about 10 million downloads, right? What would that mean for your brand? 12 million specifically. This concept that I'm showing you guys is what I call monument marketing. I haven't heard this before, and I haven't seen anyone else quantify it in a model. So I'm trying to develop this model to explain it. Monuments are things in a world of fake news. You just go to X and you look at all the stuff flowing. What pops? It's the visual monuments. Think of it like the 8 wonders of the world. So what are visual monuments you can create for your software brand that instantly communicates credibility? Well, pictures from your packed conference, you on cable, one of your recordings getting 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 views on YouTube, your podcast reviews. You can't fake a Wall Street Journal bestseller, right? In a world of fake news and AI, these are monuments that stand the test of time. And if you use those monuments to build this bottom row, these assets are what create value at your SaaS company. Literally, your valuation increases if you build a bigger email list, if you build a bigger text message list, and you build a bigger direct mail list, these all things feed together. How many of you guys are sort of, you're feeling it? You're going, okay, I get soft power, I get monuments. I don't know yet if this is the right model. I'm still fine tuning how to teach this. But if it's ringing, type monument in the chat, just so I know I don't have to edit it. Jason said, I love it. Matt saying books are good too. Again, and guys, this builds your email list too. Here's my email backend. What if you get 1,400 clicks every email you send to your potential customers? Right? What if you could get 1,400 clicks? Right? I chose to use all this energy to go raise and launch Founder Path, right? And we're now investing in our third fund, and we're doing debt, not equity. You keep all of your equity, so you make more like Wingify when you exit. That's how I use that soft power that we created. We're now done over 520 deals, invested in over 180 million software companies. Any Founder Path portfolio companies on today? Put in the chat. If you took money, if you're in the crew, feel free to put it in the chat. I might pick on some people if I see them. Courtney, Savitar, yep. Adam last. Adam, you submitted a deal. Yep, we're underwriting you right now. Matt Myers, yep. Matt, good to see you, man. I love that you're so close with Henry. That was awesome. But yeah, we funded over 500 companies so far, almost $250 million deployed. Folks like Scott at Contact Monkey. Now, guys, I'm not going to, because we're short on time, I'm not going to play this whole video, but the TLDR is Scott, we funded him at $1 million of revenue. He used our debt to grow to 11 million of revenue. And then he did this. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, come on. Contact Monkey, up data. Okay. Now, you might go, why is Nathan celebrating a raise? I thought he was all about keeping equity. What you don't read in this headline is how much of that 55 million was secondary. Huh? I can't tell you, but you can read between the lines. I love when a founder is doing a deal like this, as long as they're taking a massive chunk of secondary. So we have to celebrate bootstrapped founders like this that build smart, keep equity. If you want to sort of celebrate Scott's story, right? Celebrate Scott's story. We have to promote these kinds of folks because TechCrunch won't, right? They won't. The Wall Street Journal won't do it. Go give them some love. Just like the YouTube video, maybe leave a quick comment and say, hey, Scott, congrats on bootstrapping, man. Or, hey, congratulations on keeping your equity. Or congrats on serving SMBs and scaling with customers you love. But go give him some love so he feels that. And for you guys, while you're celebrating Scott, and before we jump into the second two sections of soft power, right, books and podcasts, I want to ask you guys, if you guys are open or if you've identified a growth channel where you think you could invest, right, someone else's money, i.e. debt, and drive growth and keep equity, I'd love to talk to you. So just if you're considering capital and you'd love to sort of join our crew of funded companies, you get to hang out with folks like Henry Schuck. Right? It's incredible. Type yes here in the poll I just launched. And then let me know what kind you're looking for. Do you want a long-term term loan? Right? Do you want a short-term RPA? No warrants, no personal guarantee, interest-only period. Give me your dream deal. Right? You want $1 million on a 48-month payback with 24 months of IO, no warrants, no personal guarantee. And then the last question here in the poll is how much capital would you consider? Right? Do you want 100K? Do you want 5 million? Do you want something in between? I'm going to leave this poll up while you guys all answer it. Okay, and Kevin and I think Kevin from Founder Path here is on the call. We'll reach out to you guys later today and tomorrow once you fill this in if you're curious. And we'll keep moving forward here. So as you're answering that poll, as you're figuring out how to invest money to drive growth, we want to talk about building your influence, right? Building your influence. Just like Chameleon did and is doing by getting traffic from G2, right, in the review sites. Now, getting reviews is all about placement and copywriting. I'm going to pause while you guys look in the bottom left of how Chameleon puts the G2 call to action in their app UI and scan the email on the right that they use to incentivize the reviews. All right. You've got to take these actions. You can't just pray that reviews happen. Let me give you a more specific example. VFairs, 1,600 G2 reviews. Here's the copy they used. Can you guys see the bold copy on the right? Just scan the bold part. Don't read the whole email, just the bold part. I'm going to give 5 more seconds on the poll. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we'll end that poll. We'll reach out to you guys here shortly. So that's VFairs. Notice that copy. Here, guys, if you're trying to figure out how to get reviews and what copy to use, these are the 3 concepts I would use if I was you. They work the best. right? This is basically what copy do you put in your email sends or your interface to get reviews from your audience. The first concept, the story there, is recruiting an ally. The second concept is customer service. And the lastly is motivational and video. I'll read the last one to you so you can get a sense of it. Hey, customer, we have the world's best engineers building great SaaS for you. Listen, we start every day by watching feedback from a customer like you. I'd love to play your clip, Marina, next week to our engineers. I'd love to play your clip. Are you open to sending us a quick 1 to 2 minute video where you talk about your favorite feature? Loom or QuickTime are quick ways to record yourself. You see how that it gives your customer power because they feel like they're going to influence your engineers, and they are. You're going to use their video next week. That's much better than saying, please send me a video review. Right? You got to get the story going. This is what copywriting, empathy, EQ, this is how you're going to win in the future. All right, this is how you're going to win in the future. All right, let's move forward. If you're not sure what the hell a review site is, here are 16 places to start. The 16 top review sites that get the most traffic, and that will give you the most traffic if you rank on them for B2B SaaS. If you rank high here, you will also, hey, Eric, good to see you, man. Eric, by the way, guys, he's got to go, but Eric's the founder of Pendo. I mean, you want to talk about Pendo? I mean, Eric, over 200 million bucks of revenue. You see him in the chat. Eric, sorry I couldn't get more FaceTime on you today, man, but it's good to see you. I don't know if he left already, if he can unmute himself, but good to see you, brother. All right, those are 16 B2B SaaS review sites to dominate. Let's jump into our 8th category. Guys, hang with me. 2 more sections here. 2 more sections here, right? How to hit 100 million bucks bootstrap. This is Clickfunnels revenue growth. This is Clickfunnels revenue growth. All right, I'm gonna move to the next slide. This is how they launched. Distribution is more important than product. Distribution is more important than product. One more time, in a world where anyone can build code, distribution is more important than product. This is a monument. You can't fake this. This is distribution. 2,800 reviews. Great book, right? Instant credibility. The second you see that, you go, whoa, I want to know the underground playbook for growing my company online with a sales funnel. 2,800 people saw it. Oh my gosh. And then the book, he upsells the SaaS, clickfunnels.com, right? It worked so well. He said, I'm going to do 3 more, right? I'm going to do 3 more. It's worked so well. Now, if you're trying or considering writing a book, I'd love to just hear from you really quick. Guys, how many of you guys are seriously considering writing a book to establish yourself in your space as the go-to? Type book in the chat. Anybody? Book. Type book in the chat. I'm feeding the chat transcript in the ChatGPT afterwards and saying, tell me everyone that said the word book, and I'm going to email you tactics. So type book in the chat. You're training me to be able to reach out to you in a more relevant way after this. Pretty cool, right? This is real meta stuff. But if you're thinking about writing a book seriously, because guys, book writing is hard. I mean, it's hard. So not like a faker that wants to do a 2-page ebook. I'm talking 60,000 freaking words, writing with an editor, good content, not a sales pitch, right? Publishing it, getting in airports, etc. I said, you know what? I want to be like Russell. Let me try and do this myself. And here's what happened. I didn't get 2,800 reviews. I got 700 though, right? We hit the number 3 Washington bestseller list. The New York, in the middle of Times Square, they put me on the big, whatever you call that video screen. We were on the front desk at every airport bookshop as a New York Times bestseller. You see the book there, right? I was on all the cable stations there in the bottom left. Again, what if you could use a book to capture this kind of attention in your space? And if you want to flatter me real quick, if you've read the book, type Nathan book in the chat because you will sell other people on the webinar on grabbing the book really quick and you'll make me feel good, right? Love the book though, right? A lot of screenshots, a lot of data, a lot of financials, a lot of revenue growth in there. So guys, here is the secret. I feel so bad admitting this. This is why the book worked. It was this 1-pager. I know it's terrible. I know it's bad, but you have to remember I come from podcasting. And I said, why don't I just apply that to a book? And the reason I got this idea is, you guys know, we love Tim Ferriss. What do you think Tools of Titans is? What do you think that is? It's 300 tools over 2 pages each. Do you think he just put in, only tools that he loved? Or is he more likely to put in a tool that maybe, promoted the book, right? Or maybe they sponsored one of Tim's events in the past. Do you think he's more likely to put that tool in the book? You use the book to create corn, just like an Indian back in the day grew corn to trade. Every page is something you can trade. It's inventory. That's all I'm doing here. All I'm saying in this book 1-pager, I'm saying, listen, if you buy 500 books and sign this invoice for 10 grand today, I'll put you in the appendix. I'll write 3 sentences about you in the book. and I'll give you a shout out on the podcast. If you purchase $100,000 worth of books, I'll give you a full 2 pages in the book and include a screenshot of your UI. So I went and I sold all these. I mean, I had about $300,000 of pre-sales before I even knew the book title. You guys can see here, those of you that actually got the book, you know this book cover changed, right? It's not, now it's, I don't know if we can grab it on the bookshelf. Do you have it back there, Lewis? Yeah, here, I'll show them. This is the final version. This is what the final came out to be, right? So again, I hadn't even written, like the title actually did stay the same, but everything else like changed about it. And the reason I put my face on the cover is because I knew it was gonna end up in airports. So this is free billboard. A lot of people write a book, they don't put their face on the cover. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? You want to get your book in airports because that's where rich people are. Rich people fly, right? High household income. And you ideally don't want the book to sell out because then the branding's not there anymore. You want to sell just enough revenue per square inch your book is taking up so the airport shop keeps you. That's why 5 Hour Energy does so well, right? You want to sell enough to be relevant, but not sell out where the branding goes away. You want the free branding. Anyways, a lot of psychology here, right? But pre-sold this, and the reason I did this is I was a new author. I was unproven. I then was able to get the top literary agent in the world, Jim Levine. And once you get in with the top agent, they can sell you to almost anyone. So Random House paid me, I can't tell you what the number was, but I can tell you it was well into the 6 figures on day one in advance to write the book. And the key there is once someone like that pays you, they have to put you on cable and get you a whole marketing program. Otherwise, somebody's getting fired. The book has to work. Otherwise, somebody's getting fired. That's the kind of advance you want. That's how you almost guarantee success. You will not hear this taught anywhere else online. I'm giving it to you guys, though. This is how it works. So that's the formula over there on the left for soft power with the book. Let's wrap up with section 9. We're not going to get super political. I know this is a hot topic. I just like to look like a fly from the outside and learn. If podcasts can elect a president in the US, there's some kind of power there. And how can we use that for ourselves? How can we use it for ourselves? Now, here's my podcast backend, right? And this is I launched in 2016. So this is just into 2017. This is only a year and a half in. That many downloads. It's like, why did this work? Right? How many of you guys type podcast in the chat? How many of you have a podcast and you just would love more downloads? Anybody? Type podcast in the chat. Libby Tucker, thank you. I see you saying it's amazing. Wes Bush, hey, give a quick shout out for your podcast, man. Just 60 seconds or less. What do you talk about on your show?
Yeah, so I interview product-led founders of SaaS businesses and basically deconstruct how do they scale their entire PLG motion from 0 to 8 figures. We just kind of go through how do they actually do it.
I love this. And guys, again, I recommend Wes anytime I can. You guys can see here on I'm sharing his website right now. You click up here under resources, go down to his YouTube channel, his podcast. And Wes, you've got a great community as well. Product-led community. He's the go-to guy on this stuff. And also, by the way, great branding. Great pickleball. Is it pickleball or paddleball, Wes? I always get it mixed up.
Pickleball. And actually at SaaS Talk Austin, we're going to be doing that again. So if you're a CEO, you're interested, just connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll get you added to the pickleball tournament. And hopefully I'll be able to drag you out there, Nathan.
You guys don't, though. I don't know if you guys are on Strava, but I'm on. Anyone on Strava? Any founders also care about health? You like to get on Strava a little bit? I made the mistake of following Wes on Strava. This guy makes me feel like a loser. It's like, I mean, I wish I could go find his last thing. It's like 30-mile swim. And it says like, he'll title it like light morning workout. I just want to go, Wes, fuck you. Right? I'm like, this is terrible. Right. But if you want to connect, like, look, I'm not terrible, but that's like 2.48 miles, 9-minute pace. But we hang out on Strava. So Wes, it's good to see you, man. All right, guys, podcast. So how do you do it? Again, we've done 3,300 interviews now, but what about day one? Before I had a brand, what did I do? Right? These are the kind of folks I've got on the show now, right? Sid at GitLab, Wade at Zapier, Manny at Outreach, Tom, right? Girish at Freshworks. I mean, I can get almost anybody on the show, but how did it go on day one? This is what I did. That's the copy I used. That's it. So the trick is you want to do the small print at the bottom of my page here. That's the trick. You want more inventory in terms of recording so you can create scarcity on day one and convince your guests to email their episode in exchange for you releasing them on launch day. I had about 1.5 million emails going out on launch day, and it's what I call OPT, other people's traffic. It's more valuable than OPM, other people's money. Other people's traffic. You have to create the scarcity to make this happen. But that is, if I had to point to one silver bullet for my podcast, that was it. It was that on launch day. So that's hopefully one nugget you can take away from this, right? One nugget. Again, here's the overview. Additionally, you want to make sure when you launch your show, it stands for something. How many of you guys have listened to at least one episode of my show? I won't be upset if everyone doesn't raise their hand, but okay, Todd, you just raised your hand a little bit, right? Maybe it's a half episode. How would you describe the show? You're unmute yourself.
Yeah, I would say your brand, your personality comes through on the show. It's highly informative. It's very direct. You don't sort of snowball question. You want information and information-rich conversations with founders. And I think largely they're very transparent with you. I feel like your role is as much educator information. That's what you provide. It's not bullshit. It's actually very pragmatic, useful, and high energy and entertaining kind of information. So what you're seeing here is very similar to how you talk to your guests.
Well, it doesn't matter what I think my show is. All that matters is what you guys tell your friends about it. So you just heard what my show is, Perception's Reality, right? It's hard hitting. It's a lot of data, right? Keep your tech stack simple. Zoom and Libsyn is easy, and then repurpose using Cast Magic to auto-generate content. So the question here is, what owned media assets are you building right now? I told you guys as we wrap up, I would show you the LLM that I've built. The biggest question I get is, Nathan, what episode should I listen to? And so you guys know, or maybe you don't, maybe this is your first time seeing it, and that's totally fine. But a lot of you guys, what people do is you'll go to get Latka, and you go here and type in a company you want data on, like Gong, right? And you'll go to Gong. Now, a lot of people don't realize my data source here is the audio from the CEO's mouth. It's not like some of these tools like a clay.com or something where I'm like enriching data online. No, it's the audio data, first party audio data. And so if you go down here and look at the revenue growth, you can go click and it will play when I interviewed him, said the revenue data, right? It's all tied to the audio. So we had already been systematizing all of this in the back end. And once this whole ChatGPT thing exploded about 6 months ago, we started writing our own sort of, call it Latka AI. You can now talk to all 3,800 interviews I've done. You can go there and type in any company you want, right? How much revenue, or, maybe want to say, how does this compare to their funding? And eventually what will happen is this is indexing now in the back end, all my chat transcripts with a meet. So it'll tell you the capital efficiency ratio, 120 million revenue, this much funding, 21 cents in ARR for every dollar raised. I mean, I could go on forever. I mean, you could talk to this. This is terrible. I've talked to myself for hours. I shouldn't admit that, okay? We're going to edit that out, but I've talked to myself for a long time. The point here, though, is eventually you just get to the Excel file, and it'll say, hey, do you want the Excel file? And you click it. You go here and click download Excel model, and you will just get instantly. Now, this isn't going to work because it's going to pop up outside of the shared window, and we won't go off it, but it basically gives you the full Excel file of every data point from Amit's mouth ever in history online. Really, really cool data. So this is, when I tell you guys and you're thinking about how to build an LLM for your own software company, the thing you want to think about is, do you sit on any proprietary data set? Do you sit on any proprietary data set? That's where the IP at SaaS companies is going to be created in the future in the LLM world, conversational agents. What unique data do you have? For us, it's the audio data, right? Is that fun to look at? If you guys want to get on the wait list for that, it's not public yet. I'm the only user. If you want to get on the wait list for that, just go sign up for free at getlaka.com. Just create a free account. Create a free account. I'm going to tag you all that you signed up on February 20th. And I'll send you guys the first link when I release it to a couple people to test it. I'll send it and leak it out to you guys. And you train the model. So we'll only let on like 5 people per day, then maybe 10 per day, and scale from there as the model keeps training itself. But I want you guys to know I'm not just like a banker with a fund deploying money. I am in the frickin' weeds building just like you guys are, right? Along with obviously funding. So guys, here's those soft power frameworks. We talked about dominating review sites, building power and soft influence through books, soft power, and again, how to get your podcast going in a way that gives you immediate influence in your space for under $100 using copywriting. To sum it all up today, guys, this is the magic moment. We talked about the future, ChatGPT, open rates in copywriting, prompt marketing. We talked about adding $1 million fast with Lemlist email, with Wingify's affiliates, and with Paragon's LinkedIn ad dashboard. And we wrapped up with soft power. How can you build this soft power, which will juice your entire go-to-market motion, whether it's LinkedIn ads, cold emails, or anything else? You learned it all over the last 84 minutes. And guys, if you want to do this again next month, go to lu.ma/FP6. I'll drop it in the chat. That's going to be on March 21st. It's going to be custom to the polls that you answered earlier today. Guys, on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being you learned at least one thing. Did we learn something today? Arpit Bansal, unmute yourself. Did we learn something?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was a really cool session. I gotta say, Nathan, I mean, I haven't learned so many things in one webinar ever. That was amazing.
That's all. Nobody's bored, right? Don't tell me. If you are, just lie to me. Tell me you loved it, okay? I love you guys. I'm Nathan Latka at FounderPath. If you're looking for funding, check out founderpath.com. Raj, good to see you. Alad, guys, see you next month. Take care, guys. Bye, Stefan. See ya. Take care, Thomas. Bye, Don.